Hello, everybody. Hi, Matt. Welcome. Welcome to class. I love your setup. Truth be told, if anyone's watching, we're actually in adjacent rooms. The Elemental Harmony House. I am really excited to be here right now. It's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday in April, 6-ish p.m. We've had a very productive day and just kind of nice to get back to our virtual yoga practice. Um, we're starting our series at Black Lodge Coffee Roasters in New Harmony, Indiana tomorrow, April 19th through May 24th on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And as spring is happening and things are coming alive and we're coming out of hibernation, I'm also finding this theme with myself and with people I talk to about the need to take breaks and to rest and to just let ourselves not, one, be distracted day to day, and two, just not letting ourselves get crazy busy all the time. So I'm actually going to do this practice tomorrow, and I'm going to do it here with you now. It's one of my favorite practices that I've written, and it's a practice that's really focused on surrender and peace and restoration. So Matt, if you'll go ahead, and anyone that's watching this recording, I think we'll be here about 30-ish minutes. And if you're watching the recording, you'll see the final total once we post this. But Matt, if you'll go ahead and start on your back in Supta Baddha Konasana. So laying on your back and bringing the soles of your feet together and letting your knees fall out wide. And you can kind of shift back and forth, taking gentle movements if you want to. You can place your hands down by your side. You can grasp opposite elbows above your head. That feels good to you. I know that sometimes feels good to me on my shoulders. You can also take one hand, place it over your heart, and the other hand, place it over your belly. Really starting to focus on our breath here. So if you're watching this at the end of your day, towards the end of your day, maybe noticing how all the things that you've done today are just hanging in your body. Like, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? Maybe you're tense in your shoulders, maybe in your jaw, your neck, or maybe you carry tension in your back or your hips. So just breathing here. There's nowhere to be. There's nothing to do. Honor yourself for making this time. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe setting an intention for your practice. So I've told you the theme of the poses and the inspiration, which is that surrender and peace. So maybe that is your intention for tonight, is being on your mat and finding surrender, or giving yourself permission to rest, giving yourself permission to breathe. I'll cue 3 deep breaths. So whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and take a deep inhale. Hold at the top. And exhale. Inhale. Hold at the top and exhale. One more inhale. Holding at the top and exhale. Go ahead and extend both of your legs out in front of you, bringing your arms down by your side if they're not there already. Kind of grounding here. This is our grounding pose on our mat. So let's go ahead and do a wind removing on the right hand side. So bringing that right knee into your chest, clasping both hands around that knee or that shin. Flexing your left foot on the ground as if you were standing. And then taking your gaze down your center line, shifting your chin towards your chest, keeping your neck on the ground. This is a really gentle, intentional movement. And then using your hands to pull that knee into your chest. And then from here, transitioning into an eye of the needle on the right side. So bringing that left leg up to meet your right. Yeah, go ahead and flex that right foot, threading the needle, threading your arms behind that left leg. And then gently pulling both of your legs in towards your chest. It's really important you keep that right foot flexed to protect your knee. Breathing here. Maybe this is where you notice some of the tension in your hips. I often like to roll a little bit back and forth. But you certainly only need to do that if it feels good to you. Go ahead and take a couple more breaths here. And we'll transition into a half happy baby. So extending that left leg back down towards the ground. And then taking that right leg into a happy baby. So grabbing the bottom of your foot, bending your leg. And if it's more comfortable for you to bend that left knee and place your foot on the ground, you're welcome to do that too. Really feel this out. Let's go ahead and release. So bring in that right leg down to meet your left. Kind of pausing here in that neutral pose. And then whenever you're ready, engaging your core, lifting up that left leg and bringing it into a wind removing on our opposite side. So same thing here, flex that right foot. Matt, you were doing it as I said it. I could see it. And same thing with our gaze. Let's shift it down our center line. Keeping the back of your neck on your mat. Just shifting your chin in towards your chest. You can feel a gentle stretch opening here. Maybe noticing that the throat chakra being activated in this pose. Maybe noticing what thoughts you're saying that you have going on in your mind, any thoughts that you're saying to yourself. And from here, transitioning into an eye of the needle on the left side. So bringing that right leg up, flexing that left foot, placing it over your right knee, threading your arms together, grasping hands, and then pulling your legs gently down towards your chest. Maybe rocking side to side if that feels nice for you. being mindful of your balance here. Let's go ahead and transition into our half happy baby. So releasing that right leg back down to the ground, either with your knee bent and your foot on the mat or extending that right leg all the way out. Doing a half happy baby on the left side. So bending that left knee and grasping the bottom of your foot, your left hand. Continuing to breathe, continuing to notice how your body feels. Take a few more breaths. And let's go ahead and release that left leg back down to the ground. Coming into neutral, both legs extended. And a brief corpse pose. Then engaging your core, bringing both of your knees into your chest for a double wind removing. Grasping hands, or if you have the flexibility, grasping opposite elbows. This is one where I love rocking side to side. It really massages the lower back. And then from here, transitioning into a full happy baby. So bending both of your knees and grasping the soles of your feet. You can rock here, doing check marks. So bending one leg, extending the other, just rocking side to side. Or you can stay in a more neutral happy baby, just bringing both of your knees down to the ground. Very intentional, incremental movements. And then from here, we're going to go back to where we started. So Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of your feet together, slowly dropping them down onto your mat, knees extended out wide, arms by your side. What was the intention that you set? Bring that back into your focus here. How does your body feel with the opening floor sequence? We've been practicing now for probably about 10 minutes. And so I want to invite you to anytime that you need to find some restoration, you can do this 10-minute sequence. You could do it on your yoga mat. You could maybe even do it on your bed. You could do it on the floor, especially if it's carpet or you have a rug. Just really making time to rest, to breathe. Let's go ahead and transition into a child's pose. So we're going to stay close to the ground, close to the earth for this practice. And that's intentional. So you can do this with your knees together or your knees wide to the edge of your mat, like Matt's doing right now. Whichever way, once you have your legs where you want them, sinking your hips down into your heels, extending your arms out in front of you, making this as active or restorative as you like. So you can walk your hands closer to the top of your mat. You can bring your hands onto tented fingertips. And if you do that, you'll get a little bit more of a stretch in your shoulders, which maybe your body needs right now. We'll be here for about another minute. That's the most important thing here is that you're listening to and honoring what your body needs right now. You could listen to this practice 5 times, and each time your body might be telling you something different. So I often like to remind myself and remind yogis that are practicing with me that our bodies are showing up to our mat different parts of the day, different days of the week, different seasons throughout the year. So being kind to yourself with however you're showing up right now. And transitioning from your child's pose into a neutral tabletop position. Shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Just gonna find your ground right here. In a moment, we'll do some cat and cows, but before that, just feel what this feels like. Taking a couple of breaths, moving slow. And then whenever you're ready, taking an inhale, dropping your belly down to the mat, towards the mat, shifting your gaze up towards the ceiling, and on your exhale, transitioning into a cat pose, arching your spine towards the ceiling, tucking your chin into your chest. And then taking the next minute or so to kind of move with how your body needs to move. So doing cat and cows, bend, shift, wiggle, looking over opposite shoulders. Just really being aware of what your body is asking for right now. And maybe that means you're coming back into a neutral tabletop position. Maybe that means you're going into a child's pose. I'm here to guide you, but this is your practice. Let's go ahead and take one more full cycle of whatever you're doing. One more cat, one more cow. And then let's meet in a seated position on your mat. So finding a comfortable seat so you can sit with your legs crossed. You can bend both of your knees and place your feet on the mat. You can also extend your legs straight out in front of you if that's what feels best for you tonight or this morning. So let's go ahead and close your eyes. Feel your hips, your tailbone rooted into the earth. Sitting up tall. Maybe rolling your shoulders up and back, just kind of letting go of any tension there. Gonna have your hands face down, face up. Taking a few breaths on your own. On your next inhale breath, inhale your arms up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. We're going to do that together 5 times. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead. You can just take them straight up ahead if that's what flows best for you. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, heart center. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Keeping your hands here, keeping your eyes closed. And your breath, come back. Come back to neutral. Slowly begin to open your eyes, release your hands. We'll do a neck stretch. So, placing your left hand on the ground, and then taking your right hand, extending it up overhead, grasping that left ear, and then gently pulling your head down towards that right shoulder. If it's too intense with your left hand out, you can release. It's whatever you need. And then using that right hand to gently prop up your head. Very mindful. And let's do the opposite side. Extending that right arm out. Taking our left arm up and over. Gently shifting our head down towards that left shoulder. Remembering to breathe. And gently propping your head back up. And then taking any movements here that you need just to kind of work out anything in your neck that may have arisen. I know for me, it feels good to do just some swivels with my neck here, dropping my head down and then back. And then I just saw Matt do the next pose, very intuitive. We'll do a seated spinal twist. So taking that left hand onto your right knee, and then taking your right arm behind you, sitting up tall. On your inhale, sitting up as tall as you can, and on an exhale, twisting towards the back of your mat. Really moving with breath. Letting our breath give us strength, provide us with movement. Continuing to twist, continuing to shift our gaze back, knowing that some of these movements are micro and may take months and years to see progress in. Progress from what we envision anyways. Let's go ahead and release. Slowly. And then taking that, switching your legs. Thank you, Matt. And then taking that right hand, placing it on your left knee. Taking that left hand behind your back. And same thing, let's inhale, growing tall. And exhale, twist, turning towards the back of your mat. Gaze eventually shifting towards that left shoulder. Continuing to use your breath. And unwind. Maybe doing a couple seated cat and cows here, just to really get some more movement in the spine. I love doing seated cat and cows. You can do these just sitting in a regular chair, sitting on the couch, sitting on your bed, sitting on the floor, sitting on your yoga mat. Just some really great ways. Even if you don't have time in the day to get a full yoga practice in, or even 10 minutes, you can do just a couple poses at a time with breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Really feeling that extension. And then from here, let's go ahead and transition into our first downward facing dog. So this will be about as far away from the mat that we get. Walk your dog, bending your legs, bending the left leg and the right leg. Maybe lifting one leg up off the ground for a three-legged dog. As with the rest of our practice, just really listening to our bodies. It's something that's just like really bringing me joy with this practice is that sunlight that's coming in and hitting mat. It just makes me think if you're in a place where you're able to practice with the sunshine, maybe encourage you to do so. I'll be here for just a few more breaths. And after you practice, we'd love to hear in the comments how you felt during this practice. Which poses maybe felt the best to you, maybe what came up, maybe if you'd like to share your intention. No expectations of sharing those, but if you want to, the space is always there. So from here, go ahead and lift up that left leg and swinging it through to the top of your mat for a low lunge. There you go. You can drop that right knee to the mat. If you have blocks, you can place your blocks on either side of your leg. Kind of do like an extra low lunge. You can keep your hands on your knee here. Or if you're ready and you want a little bit of an extra challenge, you can even extend your arms up overhead. Using a little balance. From here, let's go ahead and transition. Lower your arms if they're extended. Yes, very mindful, Matt. And then shifting into a half monkey. So just send your hips back, keeping that right leg where it is, and then flexing that left foot. Maybe feeling that in your calves and your quads. I think I may have just said the incorrect foot. I think it's your right foot that's out in front of you. Is that right, Matt? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yeah. Okay. My apologies there. So that right foot is out and flexed. All right. Go ahead and release from here. We're going to stay low. Go ahead and we're going to pivot to the left side. Yeah, and do a wide-legged forward fold. Oh, if you'll stay in the middle there, we'll do a wide-legged forward fold in the center of your mat. You can shift side to side here. You can even do a shoulder stretch. Or just do a more traditional wide-legged forward fold. If you're in a shoulder stretch, go ahead and release your hands back down to the ground and then pivot towards the back of your mat for a low lunge on the opposite side. So dropping that right knee to the mat. Oh, is it your left knee that's behind you, Matt? Your right knee's behind you. Okay. That's what I thought. And for this low lunge, doing the same thing that you did on the opposite side. So if you extended your arms up, maybe doing that on this side as well. Continuing to breathe. And bringing your hands down to your mat and then shifting back into a half monkey. So keeping that right foot where it is. And then flexing that left foot. Blocks could be helpful in this pose as well if you have them for each of your hands. Help with some stability and balance. Let's go ahead and release. And then you'll pivot to the right side back into your wide-legged forward fold. Continuing to breathe. And then gently releasing. And then walking your hands to the top of your mat. We're going to transition back into a downward facing dog. So take that left foot back. Yeah. Breathing here. Yeah, continuing to walk your dog. Take the three-legged dogs, whatever feels good. Got about 15 seconds left in this pose. And transition into a child's pose. With your knees together or with your knees wide to the edge of your mat, sinking your hips down into your heels, extending your hands out in front of you. And then walking your hands over off to the right side of your mat. And then to the left side. Bringing your hands back to center. Taking this child's pose to one last place. That last place could be right where you are. Could be extending your hands out. Coming up onto tented fingertips. And then from here, returning back to our Supta Baddha Konasana. Coming onto your back. Feet together. Knees drop out wide. Arms down by your side. And that's the end of our practice. So I invite you to stay here or transition into final resting pose. And then just giving yourself whatever amount of time that you need to enjoy this peace, to enjoy the quiet. Noticing how your body feels after your practice. And then asking yourself as you go into your daily life, how can you come back to this stillness throughout some of the busyness of our days? Maybe it's simply just taking a few breaths, sitting in your chair, doing a couple of cat and cows. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I will see you next time. Namaste.